Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this is one of those dad Perch kind of videos. So let's go into kind of scolding, I'm disappointed in you mode for a moment. Um, One of the things that's developed kind of in our culture, if you look at social media and YouTube and everything else, as it relates to art and creativity, is that somewhere along the line, people thought it became cool to be passive aggressive with a lot of the comments and the way people kind of engage with each other. And the problem with being passive aggressive is, on one hand, it's ironically cool if you're not invested, you're not involved, and you don't have any financial stake in anything. But if you're actually trying to make money off this business, then passive aggressive doesn't get you very far. It doesn't really mean much. Like, it's okay to be ironic in comics, but ironic in comics doesn't actually pay the bills. So at some point, in theory, you need to make money. There's a handful of people in comics who have money, and so they don't really need to make more, or maybe they're just happy being poor. There's definitely some people like that too. Um, and but those people are not shouldn't be the barometer or the litmus test for creators and people in comics. Most of the people in comics, it's healthier when people want to make money. Now, I'm not talking being ultra greedy. I'm not talking about stepping on somebody's neck. Don't Kelly Thompson it up. Just be normal. But if you're in comics, in theory, you should be trying to make a business out of it, make a lifestyle out of it. You should be able to put food on your plate. You should be able to feed your family. All these kinds of things. This is what a job should do for you. And if you're in comics, it's reasonable to expect that's what you get. Um, but where I'm coming from on this a little bit is, right now, a lot of comic creators, because people know I have a tech background and I've been involved in a lot of stuff. When I talk to comic creators, one on one, meaning they call me, I'm texting, whatever it happens to be, I get a more honest view of creators. And one of the most common questions I've got over the last year is, do you think, AI is going to take my job? By the way, I want to throw out a brief irony that nobody seems to be recognizing is, at one point during, I think, the Biden administration, a lot of the ad revenue had basically imploded with websites. And so a lot of reporters, journalists, column writers were suddenly getting laid off from a bunch of the sites. And people on social media were saying, learn to code. Remember that whole thing? Like, oh, you're so sorry you lost your job, learn to code. And now AI is doing a lot of coding. One of the areas where it seems like AI is going to be somewhat successful is if you're relatively good at prompts, AI can actually do the coding. So now AI is taking those jobs. It's just interesting to, by the way, the irony of the people who are using the dunk of learn to code. Now code is being taken by AI. So now learn to what? Learn to influence? I don't know what do you got? I don't know. Anyway, have fun with that. But am I insulting the right wing or the left wing in this? I'm not sure. Maybe both. Fuck all y'all. That's what I say. Anyway, one of the most common questions that comic creators send me is AI going to take my job? Basically, like, when do you think AI will get good enough to the point where comics will be created? Do you think comic publishers are never going to go all in on AI, right? Because the comic artists would go ballistic on that, and the bad publicity would be terrible. And it's always kind of painful to me. I had a good conversation with an artist. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, so I won't. At the Dallas Comic Con, and full disclosure, I'm very excited because earlier today I received a patent on an AI technology that will, is kind of, I don't know if it'll actually do anything, but it's good trolling. I have a couple of patents that are trolling level patents. And I talked about I was going to go get this patent with an artist. I don't think he listens to every show, but hopefully he listens to this one. So, hey, you know, guy, we did it. We did it. So anyway, I talked about wanting to do this, and it seems to. It's a provisional, by the way. It's not a full patent. The full patent would come in a couple of years, but generally speaking, if you get a provisional, you know what? Nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about right now, so I should stop. But anyway, the conversation has been, hey, I'm an artist, At what point is AI going to take my job? And the answer is, number one, if you think the comic publishers are going to, defend this because they're worried about backlash from the artist community, you are insane. The second that AI proves to be reliable and a good money make, like that you can use it regularly, yeah, they're going to switch that. They're not going to care about your backlash. You're not going to care about angry tweets. You think like Alex DeCampi on Twitter or Blue Sky or wherever the hell she is now, saying like this publisher is using AI. Don't buy their comics. But if the AI is good and producing good comics, do you think that's going to like who is listening to Alex DeCampi from a mass market perspective? I get that creators will do that, but I mean, and by the way, this isn't even a shot or a dunk on Alex. It's just the reality. This is a business. Money is money. You think publishers are going to be like, no, we can't possibly run the risk of getting a protest by members of the creative community, even though this is going to save us vast amounts of money. Like, give me a break, you know? So my answer to comic creators are, I mean, the thing is, if you're an artist and you are disciplined and you can put out work and you have a distinctive style, you're going to be fine. AI is going to replace, certain parts of work, but it's not going to replace unique art styles and storytelling. Um, I mean, maybe someday, a good writer, a good creator will be able to use prompts in an effective way and you'll have AI art, but you're going to be okay as an artist. Put it this way, by the time you have to really worry about your lifestyle, you'll be dead. So don't worry about it. I mean that seriously. You'll be all right. But for artists and creators who have been phoning it in, not doing anything particularly interesting, have a very derivative, unimaginative art style, yeah, you're in trouble. You absolutely are in trouble. And if you think the publishers are going to defend you, you're crazy. They're not. AI will have a place in comics. It will create some amount of work. You could probably argue that the big corporate entities of comics, the DC and the Marvel, are going to be the more likely to go to AI sooner because they don't really inherently care. They have IP to protect. That's what their number one priority is going to be. So I do think this comes in is a factor in kind of future work. But I also think there's plenty of ways to defend against it. So if you're relatively ambitious as a creator, you have nothing to worry about. If you are, if your main priority has been politics and other bullshittery, then I think you're in trouble. Who are you as a creator? I think this is one of the things that people who make comics have to reckon with. Are you somebody who invents new imaginative worlds and you're constantly thinking because you love the craft and you're trying to do things? Or are you somebody who, scrambles to try and make friends with an assistant editor in order to hijack Rick Remender because you're a bitch? Or who are you as a creator? The one thing that I think AI is going to do, and by the way, I do lots of takes on this channel that both the right and the left, the woke, the anti-woke, whoever you happen to be, I piss people off on a regular basis because a lot of the takes I give on this channel are not really emotional on my part. They're just reality. It's just what's going to happen. And I know that more popular channels, if I cared about that kind of thing, they would play to the audience. Like right now, I will tell you, if I want to get to 100,000 subscribers, what I would do is start showing you the math and the calculations about how certain comic creators and certain movies are going to tank. If you've been listening to the Perch channel for any length of time and you don't think that I could, successfully harness the outrage factor and triple the subscribers to this channel, absolutely I could. And I would be really appreciative of the extra $2,000 a month I would get. It would be amazing for absolutely nothing. I give these takes because they're real and people don't necessarily like them, and you could downvote them. You could do whatever you want, but it doesn't necessarily change the reality of the fact that AI is coming. or rather, it's here now, and it will have a factor. And so right now, if you are a creator, you know, the best thing you can do is two things. One, make sure that you're passionate about this industry and make sure that you still can dream big creative dreams about where these characters could go. And number two, get smart about what writing good prompts look like. If you don't know what I mean by writing good prompts, then yeah, that's your homework after this video ends, or now stop listening to me. Go learn what that means, because that is going to be pretty critical for you. The crazy part is we talk about continuity all the time on this channel and other channels with comics. You know, AI has that continuity for you. If you're a writer, you know, pay for Chat GPT so you have some privacy in the mix, in theory. Put your story script into Chat GPT and then just ask it the question, say, does this align with continuity, and where do you see the continuity issues of this character over the last 50 years? You will be shocked. It will spit out to you every discrepancy in your plot in continuity in about 30 seconds. Now, you can find that horrifying if you want, but that is a tool. You either need to figure out how to use and harness that tool, or you could stick your head in the sand and hope to God that somehow, somewhere, the art community will somehow triumph and AI will be shuttered, and this won't be a part of your future, but it will. AI is not going to replace humans in comics, but it's absolutely going to impact that. And you have a choice. You can either be part of that or not. And you can downvote this video if you like, because you just don't like what I'm saying to you right now, but it doesn't change any part of that reality. That is the reality. So buckle up, and thanks for listening.